It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, if you're finding me on the air for the first time, this show airs weekdays at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ, and it's a show like no other on the radio at this time. It's a business variety show, a show with a positive message each and every morning as I talk to many different professionals, business and civic leaders, political leaders, about what they are doing in our communities to make a difference. So as always, I invite you to tune in each and every weekday morning, take a break from all the political news and sports talk that dominates the airwaves just a little bit too much, with a show with a completely different flavor, and that's what That Business Show is all about. As always, take a moment to check out my website. Over there, all shows available on demand over at tampabayradio.com. Also over there, you'll see that I do sell real estate, so you can peruse all the local real estate listings, and you can also take advantage of my free home valuation tool found on the homepage of tampabayradio.com as well. Also, please connect with me on all the different social media sites. I'm pretty much all over the platforms across the internet. Facebook.com/That Business Show. Twitter under Jamie_Maloney, just to name a few. Also, you can find me on 970 WFLA Sunday mornings at 5 a.m. I do a real estate edition of this show, an expansion of the brand, so to speak. We've been airing that for the last couple weeks, so every Sunday morning at 5 a.m. Getting back to my roots in real estate, because many of you all know who listen to me regularly, know that I started on radio over 2 years ago doing the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show. So a lot of good information. I do the show each and every Sunday morning with co-host Frank Cotto of the Lincoln Lending Group. So a very, very informative show about what's going on in the real estate market. As always, joined in studio by my amazing team, Stephen Armstrong, working the audio for 1250 WHNZ. Also in studio, Rick Tassada, almost every single morning here, taking amazing photographs of myself and my guest. If you need any photography work whatsoever, please take a moment, visit ricktassada.com. He does amazing work. So again, ricktassada.com. Also in studio with my streaming engineer who does the live stream for us each and every morning. If you head over to tampabayradio.com and click on watch live stream, you will see the video of us in here live each and every morning. Josh, I know you're excited this morning. It's a Back to the Future day here.
Honestly, I didn't know.
You didn't know? How do you not know? You know all this quirky stuff. Nope. Yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah, it's Back to the Future. Today is the day that Marty McFly and the professor guy came to in Back to the Future 2. I think it was back in 1989 when the film came out. And so, yeah, today is the day that they landed in the future, so to speak. So be on the lookout for Michael J. Fox, or a.k.a. Marty McFly. But today is Back to the Future Day.
Well, I've got a little something that you could pretty much do your own Back to the Future.
Now, how's this?
Well, Australia is 15 hours ahead, so if you were to fly to Australia, you would be traveling into the future. Then if you came back to the U.S., you'd be going into the past. But if you went immediately back to the future...
You're going back to the future?
You're going back to the future.
I don't think there's enough hours in the day, though, to actually accomplish that.
No, there isn't.
So it's kind of a moot point.
It was a shot in the dark. Anyway.
Yeah, hey, logically, I mean, it makes sense, but in reality, it's just not enough hours in the day to make that possible then.
Well, you don't have to do it in a day.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting point, though. Where'd you get that? Did you think of that off the top of your head? Did you find it on Facebook somewhere?
I stumbled upon it.
Stumbled upon it? All right. So
no, in my own head.
Oh, okay. All right.
Actually, the story goes, it was a friend on Facebook that lives in Australia, and she had mentioned what time it was over there, and I was like, oh, wow, they're 15 hours ahead of us. And I asked what time was it, and it was 9 o'clock here, so it was 12 p.m. there. And then I just started commenting, and that's kind of how that all came up.
Very interesting. Well, be on the lookout again for Marty McFly. He's set to arrive here on Back to the Future Day. So you heard it first here on That Business Show. I think it's all over social media, though, so it's not just here, though. It's Wednesday, so it's Working Women Wednesdays, a weekly feature brought to us by the Working Women of Tampa Bay Networking Group. Learn more about them, workingwomenoftampabay.com. And on the phone, as always, CEO and founder Jessica Ravelli is with me. Jessica, good morning to you.
Good morning. Happy Back to the Future Day.
Thank you very much to you as well. So what's in store for us today? I know we're going to be talking about the Women's Day at the Capitol coming up. Talk to me a little bit about this.
Well, it's funny because speaking of Back to the Future Day, when they go Back to the Future, they show Marty McFly's looking at a USA Today paper, and on the paper it says something about, how a women president is, upset at reporters or something. And so, in 2015 in Back to the Future, we have a female president, which we've yet to have. So obviously that's coming in the future, hopefully, and that's really what Women's Day at the Capitol is all about. Debbie Cox-Rouse, who's in the studio with you, will tell you, a little bit more about what the agenda is going to be for the event that Working Women's going to be a part of in January. But it all comes down to supporting women in leadership roles and getting women more involved. Not only in running, but being involved, whether that's being on boards or being, on task forces. But it's all about increasing women in these leadership roles. And in 2015, it didn't seem like an issue back, on Back to the Future, but it still is an issue, currently. In this version of 2015, right?
Yeah, and also another interesting little aside to that, you're talking about the woman president. The Cubs were supposed to sweep the World Series in 2015, and I mean they're down 2 games to none right now against the Mets. But who knows? That could be it could come into play here and see if them come back in the World Series here. Josh, you had something to add?
Yeah. I think the curse of the goat's going to hold up.
Curse of the Billy Goat.
I don't think the Cubs appreciate goats enough.
Jessica, do you know what we're talking about at all? The curse of the Billy Goat.
Yeah, my aunt lives in Chicago, and so she put on Facebook that she thought someone had brought a goat to the stadium last night because she was so disappointed in their performance. So hopefully they rally back. Joe Madden is a great guy. His wife is Jay Madden, is one of our members, and I'm definitely rooting for them.
Yeah, the way that story goes is a fan back in, I think it was 1945, brought a goat to the Wrigley Field and was thrown out because fans were complaining about the odor of the goat, and so management had him removed from the field, and he was not happy about it, and he cursed that the Cubs would never win again, and somehow that took root in folklore or baseball folklore, and to this day, every time the Cubs are in the postseason, you start to hear about the curse of the Billy Goat. Also, a few back in 2003, I think it was Steve Bartman, the fan that interfered with a foul ball, a catch at the outfielder, and then they started talking about the Billy Goat curse again. So, yeah, it's an interesting story. I think it's like the only curse remaining now that the curse of the Bambino got broken, several years ago after the Red Sox, won the World Series. Yeah. But the Billy Goat curse, still surviving. Jessica, a few minutes left. Tell us about some upcoming events with Working Women of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we have a packed schedule, and of course you can always find all our events on workingwomenoftampabay.com /events. But some big ones coming up is we've got Think Pink coming up in December 2nd, which is our holiday gift market. We're still looking for vendors. So if you're a women-owned business and you have a product or service that you want to showcase, especially for the holidays, we would love to hear from you. And then I know today we have all about the value of first impressions, which you actually had Jody and Wendy on last week talking about that.
Yeah, very fun couple in here last week, yes.
Yeah, they were a ton of fun. They were troublemakers, weren't they?
Yes. It was a very energetic show.
I know. Next Wednesday, we're actually doing something about vulnerability, which is a topic that Brene Brown, which is a researcher out of Texas, has been working on. She's been featured a lot on TED Talks and Oprah. One of our members is a big fan of Brene Brown and is putting on a presentation about vulnerability in leadership, and that's going to be at Besitos, which is I believe you've had them on the show too.
Oh yeah. Stanley Goodman of Besito over there in the West Shore Plaza.
Over at West Shore. So that's October 28th, and that's one of our power lunches, and there's still tickets available. But of course, we're doing, I think, 6 or 7 events just alone this week. So best to just look at the calendar and see what's going on and what fits your schedule and what location's best for you. That's what Working Women's all about, is making it easy for these women to come out and attend and hopefully learn something.
No, sounds like a plan. Jessica, as always, thank you very much for supporting That Business Show each and every Wednesday through Working Women Wednesdays. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jamie. Have a great show.
Thank you. And again, that was Jessica Ravelli, CEO and founder of the Working Women of Tampa Bay Networking Group. Learn more about her and her organization, workingwomenoftampabay.com. Stay tuned. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking with Deborah Cox-Rouch about the Women's Day at the Capitol and much more about women in politics. You're currently listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WINS WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. 4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Very slow traffic along southbound US 19 due to a number of accidents, one at Gulf Trades Boulevard, another one at Flora, and another one at Spruce, which is just before Tarpon Avenue. Over in Hillsborough County, very slow traffic on the Veterans Expressway between Hutchinson and Waters. And eastbound Gibsonton Drive still shut down at I-75. All lanes blocked. Consider using 41 north and southbound to get to I-75. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utica. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. When buying a thermometer, trust over 50 published studies supporting the accuracy of the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Your family deserves the best. The Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. Pick one up at Toys R Us, Babies R Us, or other fine retailers today.
Today, partly cloudy and breezy with a high 87. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low 70. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high 88.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. And learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Also, it's Wednesdays, and that means it's Working Women Wednesdays here on That Business Show. Weekly feature brought to us by the Working Women of Tampa Bay Networking Group. Learn more about them, workingwomenoftampabay.com. Time to bring on my next guest for the show. Deborah Cox-Roush is the owner of DCR Creative Solutions of Florida, an advocacy consulting and event management company. She is also actively involved in the Women's Exchange Founders Board, a founder of Rising Women's Network, and a member of Working Women of Tampa Bay and many women causes throughout our community. Deborah, welcome to the program today.
Good morning. Good morning. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us. So let's talk a little bit more about what Jessica was alluding to, the Women's Day in the Capitol that's coming up. I think that's in January, correct?
Correct. It's going to be January 28th in Tallahassee at the Florida Capitol.
Okay.
And it's one of the two main events that the Florida Commission on the Status of Women hold each year.
Okay, what is the Florida Status Commission on the Status of Women? What is this?
The Florida Commission on the Status of Women was statutorily created in 1991. There are 22 women on the commission. They're appointed by the governor, the cabinet. I was appointed by the speaker. And we are to keep the legislators, our appointing authorities, apprised of what issues face women across Florida. Mm-hmm. And we do that through annually. We do a report on women issues facing women and families across Florida.
Okay, so it's not just issues facing women in politics. This is issues facing women in general, right?
Right. We're actually a non-political group, a nonpartisan group. Our mandate, is to study and make recommendations to the governor, the cabinet, the legislator on some of the bills that come forward and how they can help women throughout Florida.
Okay, so what are some of the current talking points, on the agenda right now with the commission with regard to, issues with women right now?
Well, of course, one of always seems to be the issue is our equal pay status. And, in Florida, we're one of the most fortunate states that women will reach pay equity in the year 2030.
What's the pay difference right now? It's like 70 cents?
78 cents, I believe.
What kind of strides have been made in this arena, if any, over the last couple of years or decades, I should say?
Well, I think, number one, awareness. I think, in the past, you've not heard that much about it. And the awareness has come from all sides of the aisle. This is not just a Democratic talking point, or it's not a conservative talking point. It's a talking point that corporations across the country, I think, are becoming aware of.
But have we shrunk the gap in pay equity over the last couple of decades? You said it was 78 cents now. What was it, like 10?
We have shrunk it some, and I don't know the exact statistic on that. However, we have a long way to go.
Still have, obviously, it's 78 cents.
Florida is going to be the first state in the nation in 2030 to reach pay equity. We have a long way to go. Are
you getting good support from the legislators with this?
We are. And here locally, I will tell you that the Hillsborough Commission, we had a pay equity day here in the spring, and we had great support from Commissioner Beckner and Commissioner Merman. And, part of that is for CEOs of corporations to understand and try to help raise women up in their corporation, in their business. I think Working Women of Tampa Bay is a perfect example of how I always say 2015 is the year of the woman. So kind of go back to what Jessica said.
Right.
But, with over 1,000 members, Working Women of Tampa Bay actually proves to the community that women are a powerful force. We're 53%. We're not a minority, regardless of what people want to say. We are not a minority. We are also 53% of the vote. So it's a very powerful block when it comes to making impact on issues. And
for women in the workplace that feel that they're suffering from the pay equity, discrimination. I mean, what advice can you give them? Should they bring this out into the open and say, so and so makes this, I make this? Should they bring it out into the open, or how should they handle this? What's the best way to handle this right now?
I think women. I mean, pay equity is not the only topic that we cover with Women's Day at the Capitol, and we can go into that. But I think the most impactful way a woman is to get involved in her community, to make sure she has a voice at the table. And there's several great organizations and movements in Tampa Bay that are helping women, which I'm very involved in, whether it be Working Women of Tampa Bay, Women Rising, the Women Exchange, We are going to have a statewide women's conference here in May of 2016, the Women's Conference of Florida. And that is involving, inspiring, and investing in women, not only in their business, but in their community and in themselves. So I think, you know, the best way for women to really make an impact is to make sure that they're involved in their community, whoever they work for, that they're involved in the process at their place of business, whether they own it or they're employee of someone. And, you know, just being on the forefront. Too often we've sat back and said, I can't do that, or, oh no, where, you know, men will say, I can't do that, what do you want me to do? And so the conversation is changing.
Is that the key issue at stake there? Or, I mean, causing the difference in pay equity? Is that men are just more assertive than women in the workplace?
Well,
is that part
you know, I don't think
if women
that.
were more assertive about it, would they you see better?
Well, it certainly helps, but I think it's somewhat societal. It's also somewhat economic development is changing, and you know, I didn't bring the statistics with me, but you know, across the board, it's showing that women-run businesses are more successful. Have more of an impact on where people live, work, and play. Mm-hmm. I know in Florida, and maybe your next guest does know that statistic, huge impact of women businesses in Florida.
Now, tell me what goes on at the Women's Day at the Capitol. This is going to be going on in January here, but what's the day about? Can anybody get involved in this? How does this whole process work?
Anyone can get involved. It's our third year. Pleased to say that the first year we had a rock number of 30. Last year we were over 130. And this year we expect 200 women or more. And what that day is dedicated to informing and motivating women to engage in the legislative process. And that doesn't mean running for office. It means how can you attend Women's Day at the Capitol? We try to talk about the importance of civic engagement. We're going to talk about how a bill becomes law, but more importantly, how you can affect that how you can have an effect on how a bill becomes law. You know, many people don't realize that you got to start with the committees. It starts way before the legislative session begins. We're going to talk about the difference between government on a local basis and government statewide and on a federal basis, so women understand the impact they can make locally, how they can impact a statewide issue or advocacy campaign, or also how they can make an impact in the federal government with issues in the federal government. We're going to talk about social media and how you can use that dialogue to affect change. Mm-hmm. We have representatives, we have CEOs and women business leaders from across the state. You know, last year the commission held a series of roundtables across the state of Florida in 10 different cities, and it was called Conversations with Women and Families. And what we wanted to do for that was to try and see what issues really, really were important to women across Florida. You know, I thought economy and jobs would be number one. Mm-hmm. Actually, number one was resources. Women wanted to know more about resources available to them, where it's to help their family, to help their business. How do we get business loans? You know, what resources are available to women in Florida that, you know, there's not a real clearinghouse that talks about resources.
And that's also another benefit of also, you know, the Working Women of Tampa Bay networking groups. We got about a minute left in this segment. Speak to the audience about, you know, how the Working Women of Tampa Bay networking group has also helped your cause here.
Well, first of all, Jessica Ravelli's been a huge advocate and supporter of the Florida Commission on the Status of Women. I think we've had the opportunity to present details about the commission at some of her events. But Working Women of Tampa Bay, I think, really brings to the forefront, it gives women the confidence. It gives new starting entrepreneurs a platform. And, you know, I think, as we talked earlier, is the more a woman steps out into her community, the more confidence she gains, the more impact she makes. And Jessica has helped so much. Working Women of Tampa Bay has helped so much. They were sponsors last year. They're sponsors again this year. Matter of fact, for those of you listening, I'm going to do it quick. We're planning a bus trip from Tampa Bay to Tallahassee. So if you go to Working Women of Tampa Bay or my website, we'll have some information up on that.
We'll share some more information about that coming back from the break. You're currently listening to the Working Women Wednesdays feature of That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Back in a moment.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products. hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
$991-5668 today to take advantage of 0% APR financing.
Tune in to the Robert Palmer Saving Thousands Radio Network. Today, beginning at 1 p.m., Robert will show you how to be a financial ninja, teaching you the secret consumer tips the banks and credit cards don't want you to know. Listen today at 1 p.m. and be enlightened.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Eastbound Gibsonton Drive remains closed at I-75. All lanes blocked. Avoid that area. Use US 41 north or southbound from Gibsonton to get back to I-75, using maybe Big Bend Road instead. Also, we've got southbound US 19 jammed through Holiday and approaching Tarpon Springs due to a number of accidents. Very slow through that area. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utah Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the Extragen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. The Extragen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is doctor recommended and backed by more medical studies than any other thermometer. Your family's healthcare deserves the best. The Extragen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. Get yours at Walgreens and other fine retailers today.
1250 winds, weather center forecast. Going to be a bit warmer today. We'll see more upper 80s for the high, sunshine mixed with clouds. Going to still be a little breezy, not as windy as the past few days. 10% chance for some isolated showers to pop up, upper 60s for the low. Same forecast for tomorrow and Friday. Rain chance gone by Friday. Impact Radio 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business, each weekday morning at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. And as always, please take a moment and visit my website, TampaBayRadio.com. Also, it's Wednesdays, Working Women Wednesdays, weekly feature brought to us by the Working Women of Tampa Bay Networking Group. Take a moment and check out WorkingWomenOfTampaBay.com for more information on the organization and all of their many events that they put on each and every week. Currently in studio with Deborah Cox-Roush. We're talking about the upcoming Women's Day at the Capitol. And Deborah kicks off with the 2016 Florida Women's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Let's talk a little bit about this.
The induction ceremony will be held on January 27th at 5:30 p.m. in the Capitol on the 22nd floor. And what the Women's Hall of Fame, we have 94 inductees so far. It started as a platform to honor women that through their contribution and experiences in Florida have committed to making a significant impact on the lives of not only women but of all Floridians. And so we're honored to hold this Hall of Fame every year. We had over 100 nominations this year, and a nominating committee brought it down to 10, which is a very difficult process because the lives of these women are just amazing.
Has the inductees been announced yet?
Or We've announced 10, and I'm proud to say that one right here from Tampa Bay, Mayor Pam Ioria, is one of our finalists this year.
Very cool.
The governor will choose the final 3 finalists. And as I said, we have 94 inductees. So that's how we kick off the whole 2 days for Women's Day at the Capitol, is with the Women's Hall of Fame. We've had just amazing women over the 34 years of the Hall of Fame, and they are honored that day, and also their have a tribute in the Capitol, in the rotunda of the Capitol, and we're very proud of that program.
And people can get information on this. The website fcsw.net. Again, that stands for Florida Commission on the Status of Women, but fcsw.net, where all this information is available. And also, I'm going to change topics here real quick to getting women involved more in the legislative process or in the political process. A good stepping point is getting women onto the boards of different companies and different organizations. Talk to the audience about this and how they can take advantage of this.
I want to throw one thing in and to remind everyone that Women's Day at the Capitol is absolutely free, and so we do encourage women from all over Florida to attend. So I wanted to make sure they knew there's no charge for that.
All right, very cool.
Women on boards in Florida, only 11.8% of boards in Florida have women on that serve on those boards. So there's many great causes many great groups in Tampa Bay that helps forward women's issues, and one of those that I serve on is the Women Exchange. And it is a group of 10 women. We have 4 founders: Commissioner Merman, Sandy Merman, Bridget Bello with the Tampa Bay Business Journal, Commissioner Karen Seals from Pinellas County, and Mariucci Azarine. And it all started at Starbucks one day, where they were talking about how could we get women on boards. And so if you go to womenexchange.org, it is a website where you can register virtually to answer 8 or 9 questions about your interests, whether it be for gubernatorial boards, government boards, whether it be local, state, federal, corporate boards, nonprofit boards. And what we try to do is not only help through access to these boards, women to get a place at the table so we can increase that percent, 11.8%, but we also work with women that are almost there, maybe not quite ready yet, and we set up a mentoring program. So I'm very, very excited about that. I think Jessica will tell you, and Working Women of Tampa Bay is a great platform. But Women Exchange, I think, is going to help quite a bit. We've already had over 100 women register, and I'm proud to say I believe we've had 12 to 13 that have now been appointed. And so, it's just one of those many organizations in the thought process in Tampa Bay to help further the cause for women. And one other thing great about Tampa Bay, and I think Women Exchange and the Florida Commission and Working Women of Tampa Bay and the Women's Conference of Florida is it's about rising women up. And the organizations throughout Tampa Bay work very well together. And, there's no competition here. We all work together to see how we can improve the lives of women and families in Florida.
Well, good information. Deborah Cox-Roush, thank you very much for being in studio, part of this Working Women Wednesdays. Absolutely. Time to bring on my next guest for the program. Kim Randall is a social brand strategist, TEDx speaker, blogger, and passionate entrepreneur. Kim currently serves as co-chair for Beer and Bow Ties, a fundraising event to benefit the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay, and serves on the board of advisors for Hillsborough Community College's entrepreneurship program. Kim, welcome to the program today.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. So tell me a little bit more about your background. Let's first all talk about the Beer and Bow Ties event, actually. I want to get that out there. So that's coming up here pretty soon. Let's talk about that.
Actually, Beer and Bow Ties just ended. We just had our very first event in September. It's an event that was formed out of just love for the cause, for suicide prevention and awareness. And myself and Brent Krause, we decided to do something and raise some money for the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. So we had this idea that turned into this event we didn't think was possible. We had almost 300 attendees over at Coppertail. And we were able to write a check for almost over $11,000 for their suicide prevention and outreach.
Oh, very cool. I mentioned Brent was a guest on the show. Did he come in with the wooden bow tie there?
You know it. He's all about the bow ties.
Yeah. I did an interview with him. He the first person I've ever seen wear a piece of wood for a clothing article. So he's actually getting some pretty good. I guess momentum behind that his clothing brand. So, but Beer and Bow Ties event. So you raised how much within the event?
nearly $12,000, just under. So
very cool. Now, you're also involved with the HCC's entrepreneurship program. I had the pleasure of speaking with Andy Gold earlier in the week about that. But tell me about your involvement with the HCC's entrepreneurship program.
So yeah, Andy got me involved in just coming in and kind of mentoring the students and giving my feedback, whether it's on pitches or giving some marketing advice or social media advice. And from that, Andy's become a really good friend, and so is Beth. And this past summer or September, I don't even know what month it is right now, they have this entrepreneurship of the year award, and the students named me as the
So you
recipient.
go in there and you go in there and talk about social media and
Correct.
how did you get picked? I mean, what was the selection process like?
To come in?
Yeah, to be a mentor in the program, yes.
Really, Andy just kind of looks for community partners or just community leaders to come in and from all walks of life or all types of, business experience. And, I came in and some people just don't stick with it. And I enjoy it. I love giving back. I love helping out because when I started, it was, I felt like I was really lost because I didn't know where to turn or where to go. I didn't know there were resources available. So if I can help somebody to not make the same mistakes I did, that's just something that.
So how did you get started in social media and entrepreneurship? I mean, what's your background in this then?
Well, I almost died from pneumonia. I was teaching preschool for 9.5 years, and I wound up very, very sick. And one thing led to another. My father passed away. It was a very rough time in my life. I ended up moving down here to be with family.
Where you moved from? You said you moved
from
out
St. Louis. And
yeah, the Cubs.
I really hope the Cubs lose.
Yeah,
tonight.
I know we were talking about the Cubs earlier, and there was a little sore spot there earlier.
It really was. I cried. But yeah, so I moved down here and found out my mom was losing her house to foreclosure. So I tried everything I could. I told her I would go work at Walmart to help make money. She's like, no, I really think that you have something here with what you're doing. Continue doing it. She's one of my biggest fans. And so, yeah, I just kept pushing at it. And all of a sudden people wanted to start giving me money to do social media. And I thought that was pretty awesome. I was like, wow.
So how does your service work? Do you just handle basically the social media accounts for different professionals, or do you consult and let them do it? How's it work?
Yeah, so I work with all types of clients. I work with Haneke Design, which is a local company. They do web development, mobile app development. And like for them, so I do strategy, I handle all of their social media. And then there's other clients where I just go in and I'm a strategist. I come up with their social media plan and I train their staff to implement it. And then there's others. There's brands that I've mentored, just like personal brands, comedians, things like that. It just really depends on the client. I love social media and everything about it.
You said comedians? You work with some comedians
I've worked with a comedian. She was one of my very first clients.
A local comedian?
She comes down for the Pride Fest. She's Christina Leary. She's actually out of the New Jersey or New York, somewhere around there.
Right. But yeah, it's interesting because I used to do comedy years ago, so I was wondering if I may have known them. So the social media, though, that you help businesses with, are you self-taught? Because there's a lot of people in the social media space. I mean, are you self-taught? I mean, what differentiates you from other social media strategists that are on the marketplace?
Yeah, so I hated marketing in school, and I hated everything about computers. How I'm where I'm at today, I have no idea. But I just really fell in love with social media, everything about it. When I was really sick, I was sick for like 6 months, where I was just ending up with every illness possible from the children I was teaching. So I had to find a different way to
make money.
Not just to make money, but I was 26 years old, and 26-year-olds are going out having fun with their friends, and I couldn't. So I actually found this virtual world called Second Life and found out these brands like Adobe and breast cancer awareness and all these other like businesses were promoting to these pixelated avatars. And I was like, this is weird, but kind of intriguing.
Mm-hmm. So how does the Working Women of Tampa Bay group, how's Jessica helped you with your business here?
Jessica's just an amazing woman. She speaks so highly of me. It's just crazy how she supports me and everything that I do. And it's good to know that you not only have Jessica behind you, but I have people within the organization that I've never even met before that are like, good luck today, Kim, or, congratulations on that new client, Kim, or, things like that. So it's just such a supportive organization.
Yeah.
It really is.
All right, well, let me take a quick break. Coming back from the break, though, I'm going to talk with Kim Randall about some social media tips for the business owners out there. So stay tuned to that. We'll go through the different platforms and get her recommendations. So a good informative segment coming up here on the last part of the show. You're currently listening to the Working Women Wednesdays feature of That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WINS WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Eastbound Gibsonton Drive remains closed at I-75, so if you're on the west side of I-75, you're not going to be able to get to the interstate using Gibsonton Drive. Also, slow traffic on southbound US 19 through Holiday approaching Tarpon Springs. Had a number of accidents along that stretch of roadway. They're all now pretty much off to the side. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson, Utrecht, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Burger King.
Morning, welcome to Burger King.
Can I have a croissant with...
I'm sorry, what's that word you're saying?
Croissant?
Oh, you mean croissant?
Yep.
Sure, why didn't you say so in the first place?
Get 2 croissant sandwiches for just $4, only at Burger King. Restrictions apply.
Today, partly cloudy and breezy with a high 87. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low 70. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high 88.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Each weekday morning at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. And please take a moment to visit my website, TampaBayRadio.com. Also Wednesdays, so it's Working Women Wednesdays, a weekly feature brought to us by the Working Women of Tampa Bay Networking Group. Learn more about them, WorkingWomenOfTampaBay.com. Currently, I talk with Kim Randall, founder and CEO of Kim Media Strategies. Learn more about her, KimMediaStrategies.com. And Kim, heading out of that last segment, we were talking about sharing some tips with our business owner audience out there on social media. So share with us some of the tips that you talk with your clients each and every day about.
Yeah, so the very first one is never give up. Social media it's not something that's instant. It's not like, you're placing a billboard up on the side of the road. You're, trying to form an engaged audience. So, don't give up on everything and experiment. Experimentation isn't a bad thing. Key into current trends too. What's trending today? Back to the Future Day.
Right.
Can your brand fit into that? Can you make
is it advisable to look at what is trending in the day and somehow tie your business to? I mean, is that something business owners should do? Because on Twitter and Facebook, you can see the trending hashtags for the day. Should you do a post and put those trends in there somehow? If
it makes sense. I see a lot of businesses where they'll share a picture of a cat and it has some silly saying on it, but it doesn't tell me anything about your business. It doesn't fit into your brand. I'm all about, sticking to the brand that you've built. So, for example, Beef O'Brady's, I work with quite a few local franchises. And today we're going to be sharing a little, Back to the Future meme, something about chicken wings. I'll be craving those in the future or something like that. I forget what it is. It was really witty when I made it up.
We'll be looking out for that today then.
So, yeah, just really key into, current trends that can really work for your brand.
Which platforms should business owners be utilizing? I mean, should they concentrate on all of them? I mean, at least Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I mean, which ones, if they don't feel like they have the time, should they concentrate on first then?
Facebook and Twitter are very important. And, sometimes Instagram, if your brand is a very visual brand, like if you're a boutique or, clothing like Ella Bing with Brent Krause, Instagram's huge. LinkedIn is a very, very big platform, and you really should have a company page no matter what your business does. If it's a restaurant.
But you want to keep stuff professional, though, and probably not as much on LinkedIn as you may do on Twitter. I think you're supposed to do a lot of tweets on Twitter. LinkedIn, not so much, and you're supposed to be more professional. And Facebook, it's kind of a mixture of both. Then
it really depends. I mean, your LinkedIn company page can be what you make of it. And I really advise my clients, this is where we showcase your company. This is where we post the news about what's going on. And this is where we can showcase your company culture too. So if your company culture is really cool and, you're kind of, you have some really cool, quirky things that happen, share it. People are engaged with that, and people remember your business because of those really memorable posts. So kind of stand outside of the ordinary.
Do you recommend that business owners invest in, the promotion of certain posts or promoting their pages to get the additional likes and Twitter promotions, or is that kind of just wasted money?
It depends on what the goal is. I mean, typically, if you're wanting to spend money, I'm hoping that you're spending the money to get money.
Right.
So, spend the money on your promotions. Find, once again, going back to the trends, find those trends to create the engagement and those likes and everything. Likes aren't everything. Read your analytics, see if people are clicking through. If you're just strictly brick and mortar, are people coming in because of Facebook, because of Twitter, that sort of thing.
Now, you're also a speaker at St. John's Middle School. I know you talk to the youth about proper social media usage. Tell us a little bit about this and how you got involved with this.
Yeah, so back to my preschool teaching days, a lot of the children that I taught are no longer children. They're, grown adults, and it's kind of scary. But I've seen them kind of grow up on social media, and I've seen some of the things that some of the kids post, and then I look back and I see that as adults, we're a really horrible example of a way to use social media. So it's kind of a goal of mine to give back and to show kids that there's a smart way to use social media, because, bullying and posting things that maybe aren't the best can really come back to haunt them in the future, literally.
Yeah, you say adults are not the best representatives of proper social media use. I mean, what are you implying? We put too much, we do too many battles on Facebook and too many political posts.
Not so much that. I think it's good to have your own opinion, and I think it's good to stand your own ground. I don't mind when I see all that stuff. It's more the very mean and ugly things you see, like people of Walmart.com. I used to find that hilarious, and then I sat down one day and I was like, oh my God, these are real people. And I would be so sad and very embarrassed if that was me or somebody I knew. So, just different things like that. I see it all the time. I see someone snap a picture of somebody at the grocery store because, maybe their kid's not wearing matching clothes or something that they don't like. And so, that's just showing kids that it's okay to do that, and it's not.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't use social media properly, you can basically change somebody's perception of you. I'm very big on keeping my posts very professional. You'll see nothing personal, very rarely anything personal on my social media pages. I keep it all professional. Is that advisable for business owners to always stay professional, or is it okay to show your personality sometimes?
I'm not always professional. I was talking a lot of smack about the Cubs last week.
That's different. I mean, sports banner. I mean, I understand that.
But, it really is all about your brand. How do you want to portray yourself? And, some people do want to stick strictly to business. There's a lot of things that I don't want to post on Facebook. It's not so much that it's because it's a personal thing or something like that. It's just, it doesn't really fit into who I want people to remember me by. So really, think about it. And honestly, is it somebody that you'd want your kids to know when they grow up? Is it somebody you'd want your kids to be like? Is it somebody that you want to hang out with? Is that the kind of person you want to portray online?
Which platform is popular? You mentioned you speak with kids these days. I mean, which platform are they most utilizing? And are they still using MySpace? Somebody told me that MySpace was for kids. And these days, I pretty much haven't been in MySpace in 10 years.
Yeah, so MySpace is still around, sadly. MySpace is more of like a music type platform right now.
Has it shifted? Okay.
I don't know many kids on there. I know kids are using like Ask.fm. They're starting to get back into Twitter. Pinterest is kind of big for them. They use a lot of the more not so social sites. So it's not where you're being very public with your social media. They use Facebook a lot for like messaging.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where kids are going with stuff. Tumblr's really big with kids, and that's kind of a social blogging platform.
Very cool. Well, we got to wrap up another Working Women's show. Got about a minute left. Real quick, Kim, who are your ideal clients out there? Who can benefit from your services?
Anybody that needs social media. If you have a business or brand and you are curious on how to get started, or you need to get started and you don't, really know where to start, I would love to talk to you.
All right, and people can reach you through your website, kimmediastrategies.com, and we'll get her information up on the recap after the show on TampaBayRadio.com. Kim, thank you very much for being in the studio with me.
Thank you for having me.
And also thank you to Deborah Cox-Rouse. She was in the studio with me as well. Debbie, thank you very much for being in today as well. And also thank you to Jessica Rovelli, CEO and founder, for helping support the show through Working Women Wednesdays, brought to us each and every Wednesday. Learn more about them, workingwomenoftampabay.com. You've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.